She kissed me that morning and whispered, "I love you." By afternoon, I saw her walk into a hotel room with a man I didn't know, but who knew her like she belonged to him. 2 lives. One with me, the husband who gave everything. The other, with him. When I confronted her, no tears, no apologies, just a cold smirk and the words, "You were never real to me, just a stepping stone." I smiled back, because stepping stones break, and I planned to watch her fall apart. I used to think loyalty meant something. I used to believe that if you gave someone your time, your heart, your devotion, they'd value it, protect it, build with it. But then came her, Claire. We met 9 years ago in the most cliché way possible, at a bookstore. She bumped into me, in the aisle, knocked a cup of coffee out of my hand, and then flashed that perfect, practiced smile. I didn't know then that smile was a weapon, that it was hollow, a trick. She laughed when I called her clumsy. I bought her a new cup. She gave me her number. 6 months later, she was living with me. A year after that, we were married. Our daughter, Emma, came 2 years into the marriage. Blonde like her mother, serious like me. When I held her the first time, I cried. Claire did too. We promised each other the usual things, forever, never giving up, being a team. I should have known Claire never believed in promises. For the first few years, it was good. Or maybe I believed it was. I worked long hours at a tech firm, and then eventually launched my own startup. The early years were tight financially, but I always made sure they had what they needed. I skipped nights out, vacations, hobbies, so we could build a future. She stayed home with Emma at first, and I used to tell people how lucky I was. She's the glue, I'd say. God, I was blind. The cracks started small. Disinterest in intimacy. A sudden need for space. New friends I never met. Girls' nights that started with perfume and ended with her sneaking into bed hours after midnight. I asked questions. She answered with sighs, eye rolls, and phrases like, "Don't be so insecure." And because I loved her, I trusted her, I backed off. That was my first mistake. By year 6, she had started working again. Part-time marketing, she said, just to get out of the house. Her hours were strange, always late evenings. Weekend events, new clothes I didn't recognize. She'd step outside to take calls, whispering with her back to me. I knew, deep down, I knew, but I wasn't ready to face it yet. Then came the night I picked up her phone by accident. Identical cases. She'd left it on the counter. I went to check a work email on what I thought was mine. The message on the lock screen read, "Can't stop thinking about yesterday. You left your perfume on my sheets." My hands went cold. Talk to you. Name was saved as Leah, but no woman calls another woman baby. I didn't say anything that night. I went to bed beside her, stiff as a corpse, and stared at the ceiling. She murmured, "I love you," as she turned to sleep. I wanted to scream. Instead, I planned. Over the next 2 weeks, I learned everything. I became the man she thought was too dumb, too distracted, too safe to notice. I tracked her phone, hired a PI, got photos, videos, timestamps, hotel reservations, even caught audio of her laughing about how easy I was to manipulate. She called. Mere plan B said she only married me because I was stable, said I was never exciting, that I'd never be enough for someone like her. She didn't cry, she didn't grovel. She leaned back in her chair, wine glass in hand, and gave me a look I'd only ever seen her use with people she thought were beneath her. And then she spoke. "I admitted it because I don't need to lie anymore," she said, swirling the wine like we were just chatting about weather. "I'm not scared of you leaving because you won't." I stared at her. "Won't I?" She smiled, slow, confident, venomous. "You're not the type. You've spent the last 9 years building a life around me, around us, around Emma. You won't burn that down just to get back at me. You're too predictable." I didn't move. I wanted to hear it all. I wanted her to keep talking. She crossed her legs, eyes gleaming with pity. Pity. I told you because it doesn't matter anymore. I've already got an exit plan. I tilted my head. Do tell. She laughed, like this was funny. You think I've just been sleeping with him? No. I've been building with him. He's starting a new agency in Miami. He wants me with him. We've already picked out a place. He's got investors. I'll finally have the life I was meant for. Travel, luxury, real excitement. Not this suburban prison. I let her keep going. I stayed because I needed the foundation. Your money, your stability. I couldn't jump into a new life until I knew it was safe. But now, I don't need this anymore. Or you. And Emma? I asked quietly. She shrugged. She'll come around. Kids are resilient. He likes her, and honestly, she'll benefit from being around someone with drive. Not whatever you are. I didn't flinch. I didn't even blink. I just studied her like a scientist watching a predator reveal its hunting patterns. That's when she gave me the final piece of the puzzle, the real reason she confessed. I needed to kill the guilt, she said. I didn't want to lie anymore, not because I felt bad, but because it was annoying, and because I knew you'd never do anything. So why bother hiding it? There it was, her entire playbook, out in the open. She thought she was untouchable. She thought I was weak. She thought this was the end of the story. But that's the part she got wrong. It was just the beginning. Update. The night Claire revealed everything, her affair, her plan, her exit strategy, I didn't react, and that terrified her more than screaming ever could have. She expected rage, tears, a broken man, but I just listened, because the more she talked, the more power she gave me. I saw everything clearly now. The wife I loved, a mask, the family I thought I had, a prop in her production. She confessed not out of guilt, but convenience. She thought I'd do nothing. She thought I was weak. She thought she had already won. But I wasn't going to scream. I was going to burn her world down, silently, systematically, completely. She stayed in the house. I let her. She walked around with this fake sense of control, playing the calm, modern woman who outgrew her marriage and finally had the courage to be honest. She still hosted brunches, still wore her fake smile, still texted her lover, thinking she was transitioning into her next chapter, Yai. Had no idea the chapter was already written. By me. Step 1. Isolation. Claire prided herself on being the neighborhood queen bee. PTA meetings, girls' nights, wine and charcuterie Sundays. So I started where it would hurt her the most, not publicly. That would be too fast. I sent a few discreet screenshots, just enough to key people. Her best friend Jenna, her yoga buddy Lisa, a few women from school groups. The messages. Simple Claire's texts mocking her loser husband, her laughing about how easily she fooled the PTA moms, a short video clip of her and her lover in a hotel, pulled from my private investigator's report. No context, no rant, just proof. The gator silence that followed was deafening. She noticed it within days. Jenna didn't text me back. Stacy canceled lunch. Did Lisa block me? I shrugged. No idea. By the second week, she was pacing around the house, phone in hand, trying to act unaffected. But her voice had that edge now, that nervous lilt. By the third week, no one responded to her group messages. Her name was removed from the fall fundraiser committee. Her PTA badge was accidentally left off the updated website. And still, she pretended not to care. But I watched her hands tremble when she checked her phone and saw nothing. Step 2. Financial starvation. She didn't know I had slowly moved all the important accounts into new protected trusts. Didn't notice when I rerouted my salary into a different business account, one she no longer had access to. I canceled the joint credit cards, flagged her designer purchases as fraudulent, turned the Mercedes lease in early and replaced it with a used sedan in my name. She screamed when she found out. You're cutting me off? No, I said calmly, sipping coffee. I'm reallocating. You said you didn't want this life. Remember? So I'm helping you leave it. But we agreed to stay civil until the move. No, you said that. I didn't agree to anything. The truth? She had no legal claim to most of what she thought she did. The house was mine before we married. The savings? Largely mine. The business accounts? In my name. She had always said she let me handle the boring stuff. Now she was learning what that really meant. Step 3. The lover. Matthew. Her so-called real man. Mr. Startup. Agency. Mr. Miami real estate mogul. The guy she was throwing our life away for. She used to whisper to him at night when she thought I was asleep, giggling about their future. Telling him how she'd leave me soon. How he was the only man who ever made her feel something. She didn't know I already had everything on him. See, I didn't just investigate her. I dug into him too. Turns out, Matthew wasn't a mogul. He was a con man with 3 failed startups, 2 lawsuits, and a pending eviction in Florida. His new agency was a half-baked scam funded by loans he'd forged under an old business partner's name. So I made a call. To the partner. To the landlord. To his ex-girlfriend, who still had an open police report on him for harassment. Then I sent him a message. Anonymous, of course. A little reminder of what I knew. What I could expose. 2 days later, he blocked Claire on everything. She unraveled fast after that. One night I walked in and found her crying in the kitchen. Not quietly, not gracefully, but broken sobs. The mascara-streaked, gasping for air kind of crying. What happened? I asked, leaning in the doorway. She looked up, wild-eyed. He blocked me. He's gone. All of them are. My friends. Everything. I kept my face blank. Strange. Must be karma. She stood up suddenly, voice shrill. You did this. You're doing this to me. Doing what? I asked. Standing still while you fall? She threw a glass at the wall. It shattered behind me. I didn't flinch. Step 4. Public exposure. Up until then, it had all been quiet, private. But now, it was time to turn on the lights. I filed for divorce. I attached everything. The hotel footage, screenshots, timestamps, call logs, a copy of her confession, even her laughing about using me. Her lawyer didn't even try to argue. They begged for mediation. Too late. I released a statement to the PTA and the school board. Just a simple explanation. Why Claire wouldn't be serving in her volunteer positions anymore. And then, final blow, I submitted the story anonymously to a local gossip blog. It took 2 days before it went viral. Not just in our neighborhood, but across the county. She became a punchline. The housewife who cheated her way into isolation. She couldn't go to the grocery store without someone whispering. Emma's school called. We've had some concerns. Other parents are talking. Claire tried to play the victim. She posted some vague status about betrayal and unfair narratives, but no one cared. No one believed her anymore. And I slept like a baby. Update. When I filed for divorce and made the truth public, Claire fell hard, but it turns out rock bottom has a basement. Because she wasn't done falling, she was just getting started. After Matthew blocked her and the neighborhood turned their backs, Claire did what narcissists do when they lose control. She played the victim. Suddenly, she was the abused wife with a controlling husband. I saw her post cryptic messages online. Some people don't show their true face until they're done using you. Leaving a toxic marriage is the bravest thing I've ever done. People will believe anything if it comes from a man in a suit. She turned comments off, of course, because the only comments she was getting were laughing emojis or reminders of what she'd done. She started reaching out to her old friends, begging, really. Jenna, Lisa, even women she used. To talk trash about behind their backs, I just need someone to talk to. You know how manipulative he is, right? I made mistakes, but he's destroying me. They didn't reply. One of them forwarded me a voice note Claire left at 2 a.m. She was sobbing. He's winning. I thought I'd be okay, but I'm not. I feel like I'm disappearing. The friend added just one message. She used us. Now she wants sympathy. Sorry, but no. She tried to spin the narrative with Emma too. That was the part that made me angriest because our daughter had always loved her mom. She looked up to her, but now Claire started acting like I had turned Emma against her. She sat her down one night and said, "Sweetie, your dad's confused. I didn't leave because I don't love you. I just needed something different." Emma, our 11-year-old, looked her straight in the eye and said, "You didn't leave. You cheated. Dad stayed." I heard it from the hallway. I didn't say a word. Claire cried for an hour after that. But even that wasn't about guilt. It was about losing control. She moved out eventually, not by choice, by pressure. No one said it out loud, but the school board suggested Emma might be better off if Claire stayed somewhere else for a while. The landlord who leased Claire her new apartment called me directly. "She's 2 weeks behind on rent. Has she been okay mentally?" I told him to speak to her attorney. The truth? I was done answering for her. Her life became small. No more brunches. No more SUV, no more designer clothes. She applied to some marketing firms, smaller ones, less visible, but someone had forwarded the blog article to them. Every interview dried up. Her resume said she was qualified, but her name was now synonymous with scandal. One night she showed up at my door. It was raining. She didn't have an umbrella. She looked tired. "Hollow, can we talk?" she asked. Emma was at a sleepover. It was just us. I let her in. She sat on the edge of the couch like a stranger in her own museum. Everything in that house had once been her kingdom. Now she looked like a guest who knew she wasn't welcome. "I didn't think it would go this way," she said. "I know," I replied. She laughed bitterly. "I thought Matt and I would be in Miami by now, starting a company. I thought maybe Emma would come visit." I just raised an eyebrow. She looked up at me. "I thought you'd scream, maybe hit me, leave, something. But you just watched. And that's worse." I didn't speak. "Why didn't you react?" she asked. "Why didn't you fight for me?" That was the first time I actually laughed. "Fight for what, Claire? The woman who built her future on my back, then spit on me while I paid for her nails?" She looked like I slapped her. I was confused, I was scared. He made me feel alive. I leaned forward, voice cold. "Then go feel alive. With nothing. With no one." She stood up. "You're cruel." "No, you just never imagined what it would be like when someone stopped giving you chances." She left without another word. That was the last time I saw her face up close. 3 months later, she filed for visitation rights. But Emma refused. She wrote a statement for the judge. "I don't want to visit someone who lied about loving us. I don't want to go somewhere I don't feel safe." The court left it in Emma's hands. Claire cried outside the courtroom, but I didn't comfort her, because now every part of her life was gone. Her friends, gone. Her reputation, destroyed. Her daughter, emotionally distant. Her dream man, vanished. Her image, shattered. She tried to rebuild, but the ground was salt. Now, I've started dating again, slowly. Not because I need revenge, I already got that, but because I'm finally free. Claire? She's still trying to get anyone to believe her version of the story, the one where she's the misunderstood hero, but no one listens anymore. Even her silence sounds desperate. Update. 2 years passed. 2 quiet, steady years. You'd be surprised how quickly life fills the space someone toxic once occupied. The house stopped feeling like a battlefield. Emma started smiling more. I started waking up without a weight on. My chest and Claire. She became a whisper, a ghost, a cautionary tale no one wanted to say out loud, but everyone knew. She bounced between jobs, waitressing, assistant admin, part-time retail. Her degree still looked good on paper, but her name killed every second interview. I never blacklisted her. I didn't have to. She did that all on her own. People talk, people remember. One HR manager who called me for a routine background reference told me something I'll never forget. She's smart, polished, but when I asked why she left her last firm, she froze, like the lie was too complicated to repeat. I told him nothing defamatory, just that she had potential once. He didn't hire her. Emma turned 13 last fall. We held a small party at the house. Close friends, pizza, soft music, lots of laughter. Claire wasn't invited, not by me, not by Emma. I didn't stop her, though. I knew she'd find out about it somehow. And she did. I saw her car parked 3 houses down, engine off, windows barely cracked. She watched from the shadows as her daughter blew out candles she wasn't allowed to light. She never came to the door. Maybe it finally hit her, standing out there in the cold, that she wasn't just unwelcome, she was forgotten. The last time she tried to see Emma, it was through a school event, open house, parents' night. She showed up unannounced, sat in the back row like a stranger. I didn't stop her. I let her see Emma standing tall beside her science project, glowing as the teacher praised her work. Claire clapped like the others. But when Emma walked past her after class, her eyes didn't even flinch. She looked right through her. Claire called out softly, not by name, just a breath. Hey. Emma didn't stop, didn't look, didn't slow down. That's when Claire broke, not loud. Not dramatic, just one hand over her mouth, one tear sliding down as the rest of the parents filed out and left her sitting alone on a plastic chair she no longer had a reason to warm. She emailed me that night, not to argue, not to fight, just a paragraph. I don't expect you to read this or care. I wouldn't if I were you. I've lost everything. I thought I had control. I didn't. I had nothing. You were the only thing in my life that was ever real, and I threw it away like it meant nothing. I see Emma in my dreams and she walks past me like I'm a stranger. That's what I am now, a stranger to my own child. I don't have friends anymore. He left. Of course he left. He never wanted me. Just the thrill. I'm not writing this for forgiveness. I don't deserve it. I just needed someone to know that I see it now. Too late. Way too late. But I see it, and it's unbearable. For what it's worth, I'm truly sorry, and I'm glad Emma has you in her life. It was heartbreaking to read, but I quickly remembered the woman she was, probably still is. I stopped, feeling sorry for her. She was the one who did this to herself. She had no one to blame. I never responded. There wasn't anything left to say. You see, revenge isn't always loud. It doesn't always wear fire and fury. Sometimes it's silence. It's letting someone feel the absence of everything they once took for granted. It's knowing they can't rewrite the ending because the ink already dried, and they wrote it themselves. Claire didn't lose her family because I took it from her. She lost it because she gambled on fantasy and bet against the one man who would have done anything for her. She realized too late what she traded, but by then, she wasn't even worth the goodbye.